Hello everyone and welcome. So today we are going to discuss about subdomain enumeration. What is subdomain enumeration? How it can be helpful for you in web application pen testing and bug bounties. So first of all, before we start understanding subdomain enumeration, we should understand what is a subdomain. So let's take an example. So there is a domain which is example.com. Now we all know that this is a domain name. Over here, if we want to identify subdomains for this specific website, target or main domain, whatever you would like to call it, a subdomain would look something like this, which is blogs.example.com. And we all know we have encountered such websites on which we can read blogs. Yes. Now this is known as subdomain of the main domain, which is example.com. Okay. So let me just write it for you here as well. So this is the main domain and this one is the subdomain. Subdomain. All right. Now, once we have identified a subdomain, what next to be done? There are a lot of things that can be done on subdomains, but the primary reason of identifying subdomains for any specific target is to increase our attack surface. So why do we increase our attack surface? Because first, we need to identify more vulnerabilities on the target. Second is, we want to see that which of the subdomains might be vulnerable, which is not being tested by other security researchers. We generally see that there are many subdomains of a target which are poorly configured, or they could be a potential vulnerability lying over there. So it is always beneficial that you identify subdomains for a specific target. Obviously, if yes, the organization says that into its scope or policy, everything, all the assets of that organization are in scope. So let's stick back to the topic, which is subdomain enumeration. And I hope you guys understood what is a subdomain now. So a technical definition of this would be a subdomain is the subdivision of the main domain. I hope everyone understood this. Now, we can see over here that it ends with .com, which is a top level domain. Now there could be different types of TLDs. It could be .edu. You must have seen your college website ends with .edu, for example, mit.edu. There would be top level domains such as gov, let's say gov.in for Indian government websites. There could be potentially more that ends with .ru, .nl, .ac, and so on. So all these are top level domains. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. Now, our primary focus is to identify a subdomain for a specific target using multiple techniques. So today we're going to discuss about two very important techniques. The first one is passive and the next one is active. So let's quickly see first what is passive technique and what is passive subdomain enumeration. Now we generally know this, that any organization, let's say example.com, if makes or adds a new subdomain, that is basically adding a new entry into its DNS, then it is crawled by different crawlers on the internet. Different crawlers like VirusTotal, Shodan, Census, etc. Now, when these crawlers crawl the subdomains, they keep it into their database or data sources. So what we are going to do is we are going to identify such data sources and we are going to ask the subdomains for a specific program or a target from them. This is generally the easiest method of identifying subdomains for any specific given target. And there are plenty of tools which are available in the market that can be utilized to do this. So today we're going to take an example of two of such tools which can be used for doing subdomain enumeration effectively. Now, feel free to use any such tool that you want. apart from the tools that I will be showing in today's demonstration. So the first tool that we are going to use is SubFinder. Now, as the name suggests, SubFinder, it is going to identify subdomains for us. So let me just open up a new browser window, and I'm going to say SubFinder and GitHub. SubFinder GitHub. So now you can see I land upon the first official repository of SubFinder. Now this is an amazing tool which has been created by the project discovery team. Feel free to utilize this because it is written in Go and it is really very quick, fast, and gives accurate subdomains for a specific target. So SubFinder is a subdomain discovery tool that discovers valid subdomains for a website. It is designed as a passive framework. As we are discussing, passive subdomain enumeration, there are various data sources that this specific tool contains, which is going to crawl all the subdomains from there. So let us see this, how it works. So first, let's download and install this. So I'm going to go into the releases, and you can download the compatible version for your computer from here. Right now, I'm running on Mac OS AMD 64. So I'm going to download this specific version for me. So I'll just click over there. And okay. Now this is downloaded for me. I already have this installed. So let's go back one step and let's see the help menu quickly. So here you can see the usage. So you can simply say subfinder-h, which means help, and you will be able to see the usage of how this tool can be used. Here is the flag that you need to provide, the description of that specific flag, and example that how you would use that specific command to identify subdomains for you. Now we are going to see the most basic ones that are helpful and you use into your day-to-day methodology. Feel free to identify more such flags and commands from here. So I'm going to go on my terminal, and here I'm going to zoom it a little bit more, and I'm going to say subfinder-h and hit enter. And you can see I'm able to see the same help or usage menu for SubFinder, which confirms that SubFinder is successfully installed into my computer. Perfect. Let's move ahead now. So I'm going to say subfinder-d. So D stands for domain name, and you can see the same into the help menu. Here you can see -d and the string that is basically the target, and domain to find the subdomains for. So here we're going to say example.com as our target, for which we need to identify subdomains, and hit enter. So when you hit enter, you will be able to see a banner message like this, which says SubFinder and the version of SubFinder. So it is completed. Let me just scroll a little bit more up. So you can see over here, when I did run this command, you can see a banner message saying SubFinder version 2.4.8 made by the project discovery team, enumerating the subdomains for example.com. And these are all the subdomains, as you can see. So it has identified many such subdomains. In total, 30,315 subdomains for example.com were identified in just 5 seconds and 351 milliseconds. So that was really quick and a time save here. This is really awesome. So we have identified many subdomains for a specific target using SubFinder easily. Now let us see one more tool that we can use for the same thing. That is find domain. I'll click over here. So this is the official repository of find domain, where you can see the complete solution for domain recognition. It identifies the subdomains for you, and there are a lot of features into this tool. Let us just explore how you can identify subdomains for a specific target. So let's go to releases, and you can download again the same way the compatible version for your computer. I'm going to use the OS X version. I already have it installed, and let me show you how does it works. So I'm going to open up a new terminal. I'm going to say find domain and -h. Again, we can see a help usage menu, and this is how it looks like. So you can see find domain, the flag that you need to provide, any such options that you want to give, you can also give that, and the target name. So we are going to do that here. So I'm going to say clear first find domain hyphen T. Hyphen T stands for target, and my target is going to be this time same example.com and hit enter. Now, in case you want to save the output into a file, you can simply pipe the output using the command which is T into a file name that you want. So let's say I want to save the names. All right. So now let's say you want to save all the results that you have identified into a file. So you can use an inbuilt feature, which is -o, which stands for output. But in case you do not want to use it, you can also use T, or you can also redirect the output into a file. So let's say we redirect this output into a file called as example subs.txt. Now, when you do this, you will not be able to see the output onto your screen, what is happening. So let's see this. So when I hit enter, it is going to redirect all the subdomains for this specific target into a file, which is example subs.txt. So let's verify if this has been created or no. So let me do a simple ls for yes, and we can see this file has been successfully created over here. And we can see we are not able to see the results onto our screen. So instead, what we can do is we can use pipe and the command T. So T stands for T. So basically what it does is it redirects the output into a file. Also, it shows the output onto your screen. So basically you are able to see what is happening. Also, it is saved into the file name that you have provided. So I'm just going to say T example subs.txt and hit enter. And now let's verify how is the output. So you can see we are able to see the same output, but this time it is visible onto our screen as well as the file is also created. So let's verify this. So cat example subs.txt. Let's count how many subdomains it has identified. And this is exactly the same number that we saw. You can do the same thing with find domain as well. So I'm just going to say pipe T, and this time let's use a new name. So through find domain and hit enter. Now it is going to save the output into this file, which is example subs find domain.txt. In case you do not wish to see this banner message, you can also enable the silent option. So you can enable the silent option using --quiet in find domain, and in sub finder you can use --silent. So this way it will not show you the banner message, it will only show you the output of the command. Let's see, verify over here as well. Here we can see it did not show us the banner message. Instead, it has just redirected the output onto our screen as well as into our file. So I hope you guys understood what is passive subdomain enumeration, the easiest way to identify subdomains for any target. Now let us quickly jump on to active subdomain enumeration. So let me just write here the tools that we have used so far, which is subfinder and find domain. In case you wish to use any other tools, feel free to use that. AMAS is really awesome, or any other tools that you like. This is just an example in which I'm showing you that these are the tools that works in a certain manner and can be utilized. Now, we are going to do active subdomain enumeration. So let's take the same example that is example.com. And now I want to identify the subdomains for this specific target, but through active technique. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to brute force this position, that is X, because we know and we have already learned that a subdomain is a subdivision of the main domain. So as can be seen over here, a subdomain would start something like blog.example.com, rohit.example.com, hacktify.example.com, or shifa.example.com. All right. So now we are going to brute force over here, and we are going to identify that whatever subdomain that we have identified during the brute force process, does it even exist or no? There are multiple ways to do it. I'm going to utilize Puff to do it. Puff is really an awesome project which is used for web fuzzing. It is again written in Go. This is the official repository of FUF from where you can download it. So I'm just going to go to releases once more, and you can download the compatible version for your computer from here. So I'm going to use the Mac OS one. So I'll just click it over there and it will download it. I already have it installed into my computer. So I'm going to say FUF-H, and you can see over here, I'm able to see the help menu of FUF. So yeah, FUF stands for First Faster You Fool, which is an amazing tool for fuzzing web applications. There is an alternative to this as well, which is WFuzz, which is written in Python, but feel free to use whichever suits your needs. Now, let us quickly understand how does FUF works. So I'm just going to take a quick example from here. As you can see over here, so FUF, and you need to provide the path of the word list that we are going to use with the flag that is -w. -u stands for the URL that you're going to provide or your target. So as can be seen over here, which is https://yourtarget.com and the position that you want to start fuzzing for. Now, we do not want to fuzz for directories over here. Instead, we want to fuzz for subdomains. So we can utilize the same thing, but in a different manner. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to say, I want to fuzz for Hacktify.in right now, but I want to fuzz over here. This is my injection point or entry point where I'm telling FUF to replace all the words from the word list over here. Now let us also provide a word list. So I have created a demo word list and I'll hit enter. And now you can see it just got completed, and this is how it would look like. Here you can see the current method is get. We are sending a get request. This is my target URL. The word list that I've provided is this word list. In case you want to see the word list, let me show you the word list as well. So this word list contains some names and some path, as you can see, passwd, db, test, conf, secret, etc. Here I'm saying follow redirects false currently. I'm not calibrating FUF. Timeout is 10 seconds. I'm using 40 threads and I'm matching all the response codes from FUF. You can basically tune it to match specific response codes only. So let us do it once more. And I'm going to say -v this time, which is to show the output in verbose mode. And you can see it identified a domain name for us, which is test.hacktify.in, which gives a status code of 200. So let's verify if this exists or no. So let me go back to my browser and let me just paste it over here. Okay, so we are going to use a good word list. So I really recommend using Asset Node word lists. So it's a very good collection of word lists which you can utilize. So let's just go over there. And yeah, so this is wordlist.assetnode.io. A really good word list that can be used, which has been compiled. So I'll just go to best DNS word list. So this is one of the word lists that can be used to perform a thorough DNS brute force of any given target, which will give you some cool subdomains. Now, this can be a time consuming task. Definitely, I can understand that, but it is going to give you some very good results at the end. Probably some of the new subdomains which are not yet crawled by these different data sources or crawlers, you would be able to identify such subdomains using this passive technique. So you can replace the word list that we have used into this practical, which was just a demo word list, by the best DNS word list over here. All right, so I hope you guys understood how you can do passive subdomain enumeration as well as active subdomain enumeration using different techniques. Thank you so much.